Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the top 15 best classic muscle cars of all time in your boy's opinion. What I mean by classic is pretty much anything like, I would say like 85 and below. Anything like 85 and below is classic. Anything above that I would say like 85 to like 2005 is like retro right now. And then everything else is just kind of modern. I feel like 2005 onwards is modern. That's my personal opinion on it. So yeah, they got to be pretty much pre-80s. You know what I mean? Pre-80s. Media of the day is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's one of the weaker ones for sure, but I got dark matter in this game, and I had a lot of fun in the multiplayer. It's a complete change-up. If you don't like the faster-paced CODs, maybe Black Ops 4 will be for you, because it's a little bit slower. It's got like specialist abilities, and the characters have like 150 health. Also, the zombies is actually really fun. There is no campaign here though, so if you're a campaign guy, don't buy it. But the zombies is a lot of fun. The multiplayer is pretty damn decent as well. Go give it a try. Go give it a try. I think it's a little bit underrated. But without further ado, let's get right into it with the top 15 best classic muscle cars of all time, in your boy's opinion. And coming in at the number 15 spot is going to the Oldsmobile Cutlass 442. I'm going to be honest, whenever I look at the Oldsmobile Cutlass 442, I always just kind of think it looks like a worse version of the Chevy Chevelle. Hey, I said it. The body style is very similar to that of the Chevy Chevelle. It looks very similar. And I don't know too much about the Oldsmobile 442 either to really be like, oh yeah, this car did this and it did that. And so I'm not going to put it any higher. However, I do know that every time you talk about classic muscle cars, the classic muscle car guys come out and they're all like, the 442 is a legendary car. It deserves to be in the conversation. So I'm putting it on the list, but this is as high as it's getting because, again, I don't know too much else about it. Coming in at 14th place, however, I do know a lot about because I've always loved them. And they're always at every single drag show you go to. The Chevy Bel Air, where I'm from, a lot of the car guys around here are older guys that like the classic muscle cars. So a lot of the car shows I went to as a kid, and motorsport events I went to as a kid were either, Friday night car shows with a bunch of older cars or drag races. And the Chevy Bel Air, the 55, 56, 57 Chevys were there all the time. They are easily one of the most popular cars amongst the classic muscle car group, and for good reason. They have so much aura. The reason why I'm not putting any higher is because they're freaking heavy. I mean, I get it's classic muscle car, they're all heavy, but these ones are extremely heavy. But man, they have a special place in the classic muscle car world. They're iconic. 13th place, this might be a hot take. I don't know how the muscle car guys feel about it yet again. I really do want to get more into the muscle car world because they're such cool cars, dude. They're so cool. It's just unfortunate that they're like $150,000 each. Like, Jesus Christ. 13th is the AMC Javelin AMX. I love these cars. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I think they're super cool, but they're never really talked about that much in the classic muscle car space. So I feel like it might be a little bit of a hot take to say it's one of the 15 best of all time, but I don't care. I'm putting it here. I think they're awesome. They look completely different from any other muscle car ever created. AMC in general had some really unique muscle cars. I like it, is what I'm trying to say. I think the Javelin AMX is an awesome car, and if anything, I think it's a little bit underrated. Coming in at 12th place is the only one that kind of breaks the mold for classic muscle cars of today's video, but I feel like it counts. The Buick Grand National GNX. The GNX, this thing had a freaking V6. It didn't even have a V8. It's so weird to me. Every time I think about that, I'm always like, what? But yeah, it's so legendary, dude. The Grand National is just, first of all, I've seen a couple of these in person, and they look so cool. Every car guy out there appreciates cars that look kind of boring, and that's kind of the Buick Grand National. Let's be honest, the Buick Grand National is a car that looks relatively boring, but that makes it look cool, if that makes any sense. It's like an LS400 situation where it's it's just so cool that it's a sleeper. It's so awesome. And then obviously it's mile per hour numbers, it's world records that it was beating at the time, were also iconic and worthy of the list, but I'm mainly going off of looks here. The Buick Grand National was a good looking car. Coming in at the number 11 spot, however, barely missing out on the wonderful top 10 here, is going to be going to the Pontiac Firebird, second generation of the Firebird. I would go with the first. I like the first gen. I think the first gen is really cool as well. But I'm not going to do that one for today because of another car on the list. I'm not going to try and spoil it here today. I usually spoil my own lists all the time, so I'm not going to do that. But the second gen is arguably the most iconic version of the Firebird anyways, so it kind of deserves the spot. The second gen Firebird is the one with the eagle on the hood, the black with the gold eagle, the gold wheels. It is just, I mean, if you don't think that the second gen Firebird is beautiful, you're just wrong, plain and simple. There is two versions of the second gen Firebird. There's a pre-facelift and then a facelift. The facelift is the one with the eagle on the hood. The facelift is just just they're both beautiful, don't get me wrong. Even the pre-facelift is super cool, but the facelift is just, I mean, it's such a cool freaking car. It is so cool. Coming in at the number 10 spot, however, I've never been the biggest fan of these, but I understand that they're iconic, so I put it on the list, but it's not, never been the biggest fan. The Mercury Cougars. The Mercury Cougar, I think, is just like pretty much just a rebadged Ford Mustang with a little bit more pep in its step. I will be honest, when you compare them to like the 65 Mustangs and stuff like that, the 65, 66, 67 Mustangs, whatever you want to call it, I will be honest, I think the Mercury Cougar looks better than those because of the hidden headlights. I love hidden headlights. I understand that it's like illegal now for God knows what reason, but please bring them back somehow. Hidden headlights are so cool, whether they're pop-up headlights, just hidden headlights in the muscle cars. They're always been so awesome. And yeah, the Mercury Cougar had those. It's a super cool car. It pretty much is like a, again, it's pretty much, the best way I can describe it is it's a cooler version of a Mustang. But again, I've always been a Chevy guy, so. And coming in at 9th place, yeah, obviously it's making the list, the Plymouth Superbird. The Plymouth Superbird is just, first of all, the name is just so American. Superbird. Like, goddamn, how are you a European and you hear that name and you don't go, it doesn't strike a little bit of fear in you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that just has to strike a little bit of fear in you. Superbird. And obviously it's a freaking awesome car. It was like probably the most single-handedly legendary NASCAR race car of all time. And say what you want about NASCAR, but it's a legendary gosh darn motorsport. Okay, everyone in the world knows what NASCAR is, at least, and in America it's freaking cool. All right, I like watching NASCAR. What can I say? It's fun to watch sometimes. Do I think it's better than IMSA GT3 racing? No, but I do like it. And the Plymouth Superbird is arguably the most iconic NASCAR car of all time. The blue one, man, I mean, just good gravy, great googly moogly. It's such a cool car. That massive wing, the bullet front nose on the car, oh, it's so cool. It's literally just a modified Charger, but it's cool. Speaking of Chargers, coming in at the number 8 spot is going to be going to the Dodge Charger RT 1969. I know people are probably scratching their heads right now and probably yelling at their screen saying, how is the 69 Charger above the Superbird when the Superbird is just a modified, better version than the 69 Chargers? Because I personally, this is my personal list, and I personally love the 69 Charger's design so much more than I love the Superbird's design. Is the Superbird's design quirky and cool and out there? Absolutely, and I'll still break my neck every time I see one drive by me. And yes, I have seen a couple of them drive by me. I know, again, where I live, this is like common stuff, which is crazy because other places they would kill to see a Superbird, and I have seen some in person. But either way, yeah, I think I don't know, man, I love the 69 Chargers. I freaking love them. I love their hidden headlights. I love their sleek but like kind of basic, if you really think about it, design. I think the 69 Charger is beautiful, one of the most beautiful looking muscle cars of all time, period. I would kill to own a 69 Charger. Coming in at the number 7 spot though, you gotta give credit where credit is due. I know some people might classify this as a supercar, and for its time, I kind of agree. It kind of was a supercar for its time, but it is a muscle car at the end of the day. The Chevy Corvettes, I went with specifically the C2 today because the C2 is probably the most iconic Chevy Corvette generation. Is it my favorite Corvette generation? Absolutely not. I like the C5 better. I like the C7 better. C2 is up there for sure, but I don't think it's better than those. But that's blasphemy in the Corvette world. The C2 Corvette is one of the most iconic Corvettes. This is where the entire body's design, style, whatever you want to call it, of the Corvette came into play. Like, if you really think about it, the C1 Corvettes didn't really have this similar design to the C2. And it's really all started. The split window C2 is just freaking iconic, and it's a beautiful car. You see one of these in person, you are going to break your neck, absolutely. Coming in at the number 6 spot, you gotta give credit where credit is due. I'm gonna be honest, there's no world where I would end up buying one of these cars myself. But again, you gotta give credit where credit is due to the OGs, the Pontiac GTO 1965. This is regarded by some, again, it's such a big argument. Some people say it's this car, some people say it's that car, but this is regarded by some as the first ever true muscle car, true pony car of the United States of America, and I personally agree with that statement. I think the Pontiac GTO, the 65 GTO, is indeed the first ever true, genuine muscle car of the world, so you got to give credit where credit is due. Again, is it my personal style? Absolutely not. This thing is huge. They are land yachts. Like, again, I understand muscle cars are big cars. This thing is extremely big, and the design of it is kind of just a little bit basic in my opinion, so it's not my personal favorite. Sorry for my phone ringing, but it deserves a spot on the list. And coming in at the number 5 spot is, in my opinion, one of the best looking muscle cars of all time, period. The Dodge Coronet Super B 1970. Listen, let me make this abundantly clear. I don't know much about muscle cars, all right? Like, I don't even know what motor the Coronet Super B comes with. I don't know how much horsepower it makes. I don't know if it was dominant in any form of motorsports. I don't think it was, as a matter of fact. I don't know much about it. So I'm basically go off of, like, just, you know, legendary status within the car world and looks. And in my opinion, the 70 Super B is just perfect in terms of its design. It is perfect. It's almost like they took the 69 Charger we just talked about and somehow made it look even better. The front end of this car is so cool. It literally looks like a B, and it is such a good design. I love that design. The rear end is kind of whatever. It's just a regular old muscle car, but the front end of the Coronet Super B is beautiful. One of the best in the game. However, coming in at the number 4 spot, shout out my dog, because we named our dog after this, the Chevy Chevelle SS. I mean, you gotta include the Chevelle, man. But for those who don't know, yeah, I got 2 boxers, and my dad's a big Chevy guy. You guys know that. He's always been a Chevy guy my entire life. He's loved Chevys. And so at the time we had a Puggle when we first got him. Rest in peace, he passed away. But his name was Chevy. And then when we got these 2 boxer puppies, we were like, oh, what are we going to name them? And my sister just decided to name one of them Nova, just because she thought it was a cool name, not because it was related to the Chevy car in any regard. And then we got the second one shortly after that, and we were like, what are we going to name this one? And we were like, what about Chevelle? Chevelle and Nova. And it's always going to have a special place in my heart, the Chevy Chevelle, because of that. Obviously, same with the Nova, of course. But the Chevy Chevelle, even if I didn't name my dogs after it, it would still be an iconic freaking car. I mean, it is just so cool in every way. I want a Chevy Chevelle so freaking bad. Coming in at 3rd place, however, it's just iconic. The Dodge Challenger RT 1970. I'm gonna go with the 70s one here. This is, for those who don't know, this and the Plymouth Hemi Cuda are pretty much the exact same car. I personally like the Plymouth Hemi Cuda a little bit more. I think the Plymouth Hemi Cuda looks a little bit better, but the Challenger did it first. You know what I mean? Like, this is where it all started, and so I feel like it's only fair to give the spot to the Dodge Challenger RT. But just keep in mind that this is like an honorable mention for the Plymouth Hemi Cuda at this point, because they're both pretty much the same car, but they are so freaking beautiful. Like, it is just. I personally like the Chargers better. I think I'd rather have a 69 Charger than a 70s Challenger. But in terms of like their overall status in the car community, the Challenger is definitely overall more impactful, I would say. However, coming in at 2nd place, see, again, I can put my biases to the side. Okay, again, I'm a big Chevy guy. You guys know that. I love Chevys. But I can put that to the side to admit that the Ford Mustang Boss 429 is easily one of the most iconic, legendary muscle cars of all time. Okay, like, I could say that. And I will say this, I love the Ford Mustang Boss 429. I think it's a beautiful looking car. Are you kidding me? These are sick cars, extremely cool cars. I love them, and obviously their motor's huge, their performance was incredible, and it's a Mustang. What else can you say? The Ford Mustang, even if you are a Chevy guy, even if you're a Dodge guy, you have to admit that the Ford Mustang is one of, if not the most legendary muscle car of all time. Plain and simple. Like, there is an argument to be made that the Mustang is the most iconic American car ever built. Honorable mention for today's video, because it's kind of just another Dodge Coronet, but like rebadged, the Plymouth Roadrunner. Yeah, the Plymouth Roadrunner obviously deserves a spot on this list. It's very iconic, but again, if you really think about it, if you get down to the brass tacks, it's kind of just a rebadged Dodge Coronet, and so I didn't really want to actually put it on the original list since I already had a Dodge Coronet. But again, it deserves a spot here. 100%. The Plymouth Roadrunner is a super iconic muscle car. Also, it's just the name is just like, why can't American muscle car brands, or just American brands in general, make cool names like this again? The Plymouth Roadrunner, the Dodge Challenger, the Chevy Chevelle, the Coronet. Like, these are just cool names, and now we just have like Equinox. Like, get the hell out of here. But 1st place, yeah, I can put my biases aside a little bit, but I can't put it aside enough. Okay, it's still my list at the end of the day. So 1st place, in my opinion, the best classic muscle car of all time is, of course, the Chevrolet Camaro 1st generation. The 1st generation, the 67, 68, 69 Camaros are just, they're just perfect. I mean, there's just nothing I would change about a 1st gen Camaro. I personally like the ones with the hidden headlights the best. I think the hidden headlights 1st gen Camaros are just oh so iconic. They remind me of Muscle Tone from Hot Wheels. That's a very niche reference. If you understand that reference, shout out you. But that's what they remind me of. They're just such cool cars, dude. Oh, they're just so cool. They're so cool in every regard. There's nothing, again, there's nothing I would change about them. There's nothing I would change about. I mean, obviously, with that being said, if I did have one, I would probably modify it, make it a little bit different looking, because that's just what I like to do to cars. But that's not me saying that the car looks bad. That's just me saying that I love it so much I want to modify it. I want one, is what I'm trying to say. The 1st gen Camaros, in my opinion, are the best classic muscle car of all time. And my dad agrees too. This is my dad's dream car. For anybody who's there's your trivia of the day. What is Mark Roden's dad's dream car? The 69 Camaro. There you go. If you ever get asked that at like a party, now you know, I guess. If anyone asks you that at a party, though, ask them what they know, because that's weird. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 15 best classic muscle cars of all time in Mark Roden's opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what of you would like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, guys. If you live up in the New England area, get outside. Either today, today, by the time this video goes live, it's going to be too late for you to get outside, but tomorrow it's going to be nice out to get outside. It's been, we all know, all us New Englanders, or whatever you want to call us, we all understand the freaking misery and misfortune of living through winter. It sucks. It is miserable. It is horrible. It is the worst time of the year. I hate it so much. I hate every part about it. It makes me depressed. It makes everyone depressed. It is a miserable time of year. And around this time of year, in like March, like late March, kind of late April as well, and then May, it's transitioning there, and you get those warm days, and you can hear the freaking frogs are chirping, and the crickets are riling up over there at mating. It is just perfect. It is truly just perfect. You could go outside, it's nice and warm. It's literally like free therapy. It really is. After going this entire freaking time with all the, it is still a little bit gray outside, which is why like March isn't the perfect time, because again, it's like all the trees and stuff are still dead, all the grass is still gross. But either way, it is still worth going out to get in some fresh air, man. Oh man, it's nice, especially for me. I mean, I'm in my freaking basement all the time, so for me, I really need to get out there. But for you guys too, try and get outside if you can. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. That's pretty much it, I guess. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.